flexible packaging continues to grow in market share. Matthew, you say that flexible packaging is a stress test for the recycling system, that what matters now is proof of recovery, not theoretical recyclability. And you also say that, quote, if flexibles can't be aligned, the circular economy narrative collapses under its own weight, unquote. What do you mean by this?
Flexible is a wonderful tool for a number of positive reasons when it comes to reducing your carbon footprint. The numbers and the factors can be anywhere from kind of 2 or 3 to like 10 times the improvement. So from one side, it's such an obvious tool to companies that are trying to cut their costs and reduce their emissions and to ship products back and forth without having to overpay for the fuel or logistics or freight part of it. But where it has a problem is that there's a lot of compromise that's made where we think we found a solution, but none of the solutions for flexible packaging are even 80% efficient, or 70% efficient, or 60% efficient. They're kind of 30 or 40% at the moment. So you have things like the in-store drop-off, where in theory it sounds great because it's like, oh well, now I know what to do with my flexible packaging. I put it in the bag, I leave it in my supermarket, and the ferries come along and it's all magically handled for me. And that's great from a consumer messaging side because it's very easy to understand what they want from me as a consumer. I put it in my bags and I put it in the supermarket and I'm done. But the system that is collecting that and recycling that is quite small numbers. I remember we were working with Trex previously, and I think they were saying that like their better years had been something like 35 or 40% recovered flexible packaging that was being turned into decking, composite decking. And that was the kind of elite program within the US. So like the best of the best was able to deliver maybe 40%. And so that's the thing that is going to be a kind of a critical foundational issue, because if the best you're able to do with flexible packaging, which is ever increasingly the part of the packaging mix, is to maybe get
higher and higher volumes on flexible all the time. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you're seeing higher and higher usage of flexible because it makes sense. It's such a wonderful format and an easy and convenient format. But if you're losing sight of how much of that you're able to recover, or the best you're able to do is stays at about the 40%, 45% range, then you can't have any kind of circular economy because however the maths work out, much like yourself, I'm not a maths person, but if I'm taking 40% of about a third of the packaging material that's hitting the market, so you're kind of a sixth or so, so that's about 15% roughly, but 15% of it is all that's being recycled, then it's just going to be you can't have a circular economy which has such a gaping hole in it. So the weight of it collapsing on itself, that's where that would kick in, is unless they can figure out a way to raise that number, because unfortunately there's no suggestion that people are going to move away from flexible packaging. So the material format is going to stay where it is because of it's got so many extra benefits to it. So they can't change they can't sort of turn the oil tanker. They need to find a way to, kind of do it more gently. And they need to find a way to improve the recycling rates, because between flexible packaging being increased as a packaging material in use and recycling that flexible packaging, the recycling part is the one that hopefully can be better done and addressed, because if it's not, then it's just going to fall apart.
Well, I know here in the United States, we've been doing a couple of pilots for being able to collect flexible packaging at curbside.
Hmm.
And, that's the magic, I believe, in increasing the numbers, is to do anything that is as easy for the consumer as possible. And curbside recycling seems to be the easiest for the consumer here. So I think, continuing to work with the recyclers to invest in technology that allows them to process flexible packaging is one of them. And then I know also there's a lot of activity going on with advanced recycling, which I think is also critical for flexible packaging because the vast majority of the structures are complex structures, meaning multi-material and store drop off. And I think even any curbside recycling systems that maybe would be created would look for the monomaterial options first. So it seems like for the complex structures, advanced recycling is the holy grail. But I'm going to talk about something that nobody in the United States wants to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Flexibles burn hot, and incineration is an end of life option that is widely used in Europe and especially in Asia. Is it viable? Is incineration viable from a circular economy perspective globally?
If I make it really simple, then it's not. So if to be really simplistic with a circular economy, I like to focus on staying as high up the waste hierarchy as I can. So obviously incineration and landfill are at the bottom of that. So therefore, if you can recover, if you can reuse, if you can refill, if you can reduce, if you can not use in the first place, etc., those would be the kind of the preferred options. But when you are at the stage that the last kind of chance saloon is going to be, it's going into landfill or into the water or something where it's, then obviously incineration is preferable to that, because then at least there is the opportunity to recover that energy and that heat in some kind of context. So I think it sort of depends on how they can improve that process, because I think sometimes there's a gap between the efficiency and some of the kind of worse chemicals or aggressive things that are kind of let off at the same time as the energy capture takes place. So I think if they can find a way to reduce anything bad being let out and kind of maximize the heat potential being used, then that does have quite a lot of potential and possibility. And it's certainly better than it being in the ground. But I would say that my frustration with circular economy worldwide at the moment is that there has been for too long too much of a sense of settling on recycling as being the way to do that, rather than staying higher up the hierarchy and being like, well, by the time we come to recycling, we're already 2/3 of the way down the pyramid. So maybe something in the upper 60% would be kind of preferable than the bottom 40%.
Okay, that is an excellent point, Matthew, that we should take a look at that pyramid again. And number one, make sure that it's still relevant for today.
Mhm.
And then number two, start, making, I don't know, making sure that everybody does step one before they move to step two, or
Yes.
considers step one before moving to step two. That's a really good suggestion.